Hey, hey, hey. We are live and at you. iFSS part 2 of the drum machine. We're going to start off in 1980 with the Roland TR-808, and we're going to end off with the Roland TR-909 in 1984. So I think we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beat machines to talk about. So buckle up, guys. We got Sip Easy narrating for us, and of course, I'm DJ Airwax. So we're gonna talk a little bit about which drum machine, and then we're gonna show a little video about it. The reason we're doing it in live hangout is in Blab, we weren't able to show the video the way we wanted. So we're gonna be able to screen share, and you guys will be able to see the video rather than click a link to know what we're talking about. So let's start off with Sip Easy taking us on the Roland TR-808.
All right, the Roland TR-808 in 1980. This is a few years back. The TR-808 is a piece of art. That was quoted by Robert Hankey in an interview with The Wire in 2010. Its engineering art is so beautifully made. If you have an idea of what is going on inside, and if you look at the circuit diagram and you see the unknown Roland engineer made the best output of super limited technology, it's unbelievable. Despite the opinion of Hank being shared by music fans across the world, 35 years after its release, the most iconic piece of music production gear ever was seen as a failure when it was launched in 1980. Like Roger Lynn, Roland's team wanted to make a programmable drum machine for backing tracks, but where Lynn used digital samples, Roland's analog sounds were provided by transistors. All right, you got a video of this process over there, Wax?
Just click on my screen, it should be lighting it up. Sounds okay? Oh man, I want to play with this thing. This is the first 808. Do you know how nice it would be to play with this? Oh my gosh.
On a technical note, this cost over $3,000 less than the LM1 by Lynn.
Word.
And that's all analog sound.
Oh man, that's dope. I swear I heard all these sounds somewhere.
That's the birth of the 808 right there. That's the real 808. And believe it or not, it was discontinued in 1984, but we still use it on the market today.
Oh man, that's dope. go. Now let me move me down so you guys can see this. There's a little knob over here. That's how you change which tool you're working on. He's not even really editing the sounds or anything. He's just working with the stock sounds. That's funky, yo.
Right.
Think about all the tracks made in this that I know of.
Well, this is being used currently in today's market.
Listen to that. That's dirty.
It's basically sampled versions of that 808. With,
shout out to Retro Sound. They put up very, very good video there.
Okay, you ready for me to go to the next one? Here we go. We got the EMU Systems Drumulator, and that came out in 1983. And the next year was when the TR-808 went off the market. But let's read a little bit about the EMU Systems Drumulator. Though Roger Lynn had created the first drum machine to use digital samples, and it followed up with the more affordable Lynn drum in 1982, cost was still a major barrier. At $2,995, it was still out of range for almost most musicians, or most dedicated musicians. And the Oberheim DMX costed around $2,895, wasn't much better. However, a company called EMU had the knowledge and the experience to do things cheaper, much cheaper. And EMU was founded by Scott Wedge and Dave Russum in 1970. Though it started off making its own modular systems across the decade, it made most of its money licensing technology to other synth companies, most notably the digital scan keyboard architecture and integrated circuits inside the Sequential circuit Prophet 5. It was these SSM chips, co-designed with an engineer called Ron Dow, that the company put to work its first drum machine. This is called the EMU Drumulator.
Good question. You know how much this?
Go ahead on the video.
How you know how much?
sick. Ooh, that time sound nasty.
And this is like a lot cheaper than the other two beat machines. It costs around $900. That's a lot cheaper when you comparing that to those ones costing around $3,000. So that's kind of affordable for the modern beat machine person as well as those older beat machines. A popular fact about this is the EMU SP1200 added the ability to record your own drum samples, creating the blueprint for the modern sampler and paving the way for the Akai MPC and Machine today. Believe it or not, that's the first version of what we using today, right there.
Wow. That sounds nice.
And today, this drum machine is still used by producers like Willie Burns and a couple of more people that's well known. They still use that.
Man, was all that breakdancing music made off of one of those? Jeez. All breakdancing music was made off of this stuff, I'm telling you.
And all types of dance music, every dance music.
Wow. Impressive.
Next.
Wait, we got 4 more minutes. You're going to do another loan first.
That groove he got right there.
Hey yo, that's that original break beat right there, man. Oh man.
created in 1983, and these sounds are still being used in today's dance music.
The E-Mule System Drumulator. That is sick.
It's considered to be just as much a backbone as the TR-808 and the TR-909. But
Wait, that's not the E-Mule. That's the Oberheim, eh?
That's the Oberheim, yes, and that costs around $900, which the other two would cost like $3,000. Okay, so we're on to the next beat machine. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, up next we have the Sequential Circuits Drumtrack in 1984. By 1981, the synth business was booming. Bulky modulators had given way to more practical all-in-one models, which were basically smaller and you could fit it in your house or in your studio. Mono synths had been joined by polysynths, and a year previously Yamaha had released the first FM digital synth, the GS1. The problem was that everything but analog mono synths proved incompatible with the older control voltage standards. So companies began creating their own proprietary connection methods. But this just made things more difficult for the consumer who wasn't able to connect with competitor models. It's rare that companies ever work together to make things easier for the consumer, but that's exactly what happened. Roland founder suggested the idea that standardization with Tom Oberheim, who proposed to Dave Smith, president of Sequential Circuits, the company responsible for the iconic Prophet 5, together with Chet Wood and in consultation with the major Japanese and U.S. manufacturers, developed a universal interface that would allow any synthesizer to communicate with another. The result was MIDI, a system that is still standard for today's time. Through MIDI was demonstrated NAMM in January 1983 with Sequential Circuits Prophet 600 and Roland Jupiter 6. We need some. It had applications beyond synthesizers. As soon as MIDI standard was finalized, Smith set to work on the first MIDI equipped drum track, Sequential Circuits Drumtraks. Alright, so we got a video coming up and we're going to see about this new MIDI format, which I currently use today, and I believe these other two producers use as well.
A lot of us, everybody uses MIDI. We can't even help it now.
All right.
Shout outs to Analog Audio. The guys over there, I'm sure they strapped together a pretty tight video. I did check it out beforehand, but I don't remember it right off the bat. So let's just get into it.
Let's get into it.
I like how they zap the background out.
I actually knew some people that had this. One of the first drum machines I really saw in my life.
Jamming, man.
So the big difference with this MIDI that came along in the older format was that MIDI would always stay on time, and the older format could lose time.
That's a nice break beat.
Yo, this video is still the EMU system.
Yep. This thing looks cool. Should we go next one? Okay, we're gonna stop it right there.
And what's the next one called? What are we reading? What am I reading here?
The Sequential circuit drum.
Okay, so we go into sequential circuit drum tracks in 1984. Okay, by the 1981, the synth was booming. Bulky modulars have been given way to more practical all-in-one mono synths and have been joined by polysynths. So basically what happened, all of these big companies came together to produce basically what we call today is MIDI. They all came together to produce MIDI, and we still utilize MIDI today. And it was through MIDI was demonstrated at NAMM in 1983 with Sequential Circuits Prophet 600 and Roland Jupiter 6. It had applications beyond synthesizer. The big difference between MIDI and what they had in the past was MIDI was able to stay on time. Unlike control voltage, which was prone to drifting out of time. MIDI was always accurate. This wasn't anything that CV hadn't been capable of before. So what happened is eventually MIDI went out of business in 1984, but we still utilize it today. So we know it came back in the business through over the time. So here's a video.
Shout out to UVI Sound and Software. This thing would have been badass in its time, yo.
Yeah, right. And it's MIDI, so it's perfect. You know, but you don't even have to play it. You can just program it to play drums that you got sequence to.
Oh, wow. Oh, nice. Oops. That's dope. All right, let's move on.
All right, we're moving on to the last one, and that's the Roland TR-909. And if you want to catch any more of this information about these, we will post the links to the description where you can read more about these. Okay, in 1984, Chicago DJ Frankie Knuckles had already made his name at the City Warehouse Club and had opened his own club, the Power Plant, a young DJ called Derek May would often make the journey from Detroit to Chicago to see Knuckles play. And you know what I'm saying? Knuckles played on the Roland TR-909, the successor to the 808. It was part analog and part sample-based drum machine that took advantage of the new MIDI technology and featured a 16-step sequencer based in its predecessor. Okay, and this was basically, it looked like a gray box. It was like a little gray box, had some pads on it, had some knobs on it, and it was basically it was part analog and part sample based, and that's kind of like what we utilize today, but having that analog in it as well, so it could produce some different, some high quality sounds. You could make your own kicks, and they would feel like you were being punched in the back when you made a kick through this 909. When compared to that 808, it was a little bit different. It was a little bit more gentle sound. So that's the difference of the two. We'll post a link to the description if you want to read some more about those two. And here's the video to the TR-909 Rhythm Composer.
Shoutouts to SimsMania.com for this video. That thing looks nice.
This is said to have more punch than the 808.
I wonder if you can double up the tracks, like double up the stepper for hi-hats. Impressive.
Definitely, that's definitely dope right there. That's the 909, which replaced the 808. Like I said, they said it had more kick in that one than the 808. What do you think? You think that one?
Yeah, because I had to turn the volume up in the beginning, and then once he added a whole bunch of instruments, I had to turn it down real slowly. It got louder and louder, way more power.
That's crazy.
He even gave a warning on the screen. Watch your speakers. We'll watch a couple more minutes of this. This video is like 10 minutes long, so if you guys want to go back and watch it on YouTube, we're going to post the link in the description. That's that house shit right there.
Yeah, that's that ecstasy music.
Get your lights. Get your glow lights out. I walked into some airport hangar one night, man, and they had about 16 different parties going on, man. I walked around this place maybe twice, and I was like, this is way too much for me. I had to leave.
You know, that beat never changes. You know, when you go to a party and that beat is playing, it stays the same. Now you notice he's doing analog stuff.
Did I kick up? Imagine building your drums on there. All right, we're going to stop it right there.
All right, you want to close it up, man? You want to close the show?
Yeah, so just trying to get my screen back. There we go. So yeah, that is part 2 of the history of the drum machine. Next week, we're going to do the addition on Akai. And we all know that Akai got a few MPCs, so we're going to have a few MPCs to talk about. We might even have to do an Akai part 2. But hopefully we can fit them all in. I know at least we're looking at 8 beat machines right away. So maybe we can do like 2-minute videos on them if we can even find anything. We might just have to let out some whispers about them or something. Who knows? But yeah, that's it for this week. Join us next week on History of the Beat Machine.
Peace. Good show, man.